All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and off to a slow start as always in January. But man, we are catching up quickly already, up to wine 150 in the database for what I've drank here this year, and a stop by from one of the classic producers from Rioja, Cvne, which has been around since the 19th century, 1879, or I'm sorry, before that. That's just when the Rioja Crianza Cvne, they started making that cuvee. But like I said, one of the landmark properties in Rioja. I actually visited this property the first trip I made to Spain, and it was there that I learned that all of this crap that's all over the bottles, this mold, this moss that they have growing in the cellars, really does little or nothing to affect the wine. The cork really hermetically seals what's inside of the bottle, because after looking at the bottles, I said, how could those possibly be good? And they just picked one up, dusted it off, opened it up, and it was fabulous. Tempranillo is one of the longest lived varietals on earth. It's somewhat deceptive because it doesn't have this huge tannic structure like Cabernet Sauvignon and Nebbiolo, but it has this wonderful backbone of acidity which enables the wines of Rioja to last longer than almost any other wines on the planet. Well, we started out with a little white. I don't recommend you age the whites very long. This 2013 Monopole Rioja 100% Viura, a great example of a fresh, easy drinking style white from this region. Pineapple, green apple, white flowers, a little briny note, some lime zest, all stainless. You really notice that freshness and fruit when you don't muck it up with oak, and a really light texture, almost like water, but really refreshing. And at $13.50, shockingly good little value. All right, the Viña Real Rosado, and they use a little still red Tempranillo with the Viura to make the Rosado here, and this wine is really just like watermelon and wild strawberry fruit on the nose, and really light, almost Jolly Rancher-esque, a little sweet and then tart at the end. Really leaves the tongue salivating for food. A delicious little Rioja rosé at $17.50. The Viña Real Crianza. This is like all the wines at Cvne, a blend of approximately 85% Tempranillo with Graciano and Mazuelo in the property. And this is the fancy new winery. They've got 3 wineries in Rioja here, and the one I was at was the old one. This one is much cleaner. And they have this lovely fresh strawberry kind of fruit here. A little hint of an earthy character, a little barnyard, some dried meaty notes too. This light and refreshing style of Rioja on the palate. Those smooth, silky tannins, that bright red fruit, and a nice freshness here and light spice. Holds up nicely on the second day at $15. Wow, very good little entry-level Rioja. All right, the Cvne Rioja Crianza, and this is not the Viña Real, it's the other winery. This is a classic from 1879, and they started making this wine for the French when phylloxera hit Bordeaux. A lot of people came down and discovered just how good the wines were in Rioja, and this is the #1 seller in Spain today. Oh, that's what they told me. Anyways, fresh red berry fruits, and this wine has got a similar blend, but a little different bouquet. Not as much dried meat coming out. Still has that lovely wild strawberry fruit. So a little bit of fresh earth, a little saddle leather. Very smooth and silky on the tongue. Notes of dark, little cocoa at the end. Really nice on the second day. An excellent little value at $13.75. Wow, just amazing the value you can get in Spain. Like this 2010 Imperial Reserva, which their Grand Reserva 2004, the first winery ever from Spain to reach the coveted #1 spot in the Wine Spectator Top 100. This wine has a beautiful bouquet. This is just a Reserva, which is aged long enough to be called a Grand Reserva, 24 months, and new oak, and it has a beautiful bouquet of this strawberry jam-like fruit here, layers of smoky, meaty notes, dark cocoa, graphite mineral coming out on the second day, even more complex, and pretty floral aromas as well. A firm hand of tannins on the palate, though. This wine, very well built. These 2010s, excellent structure here, and much improved on the second day. Wonderful balance here at $41.25. A really nice little bottle of wine. You could keep this wine 20 or 30 years or even more based on some of the old Spanish wines we have had here recently. The Contino Reserva Rioja up next, and this is a single vineyard from the '08 vintage, a little more of a classic style vintage, meaning cooler. It's got a little of that coconut and forest floor notes, dried tobacco, the fruit a little bit more austere in this wine, but it has wonderful balance, fine tannins, and really nice spice at the end, and an excellent bottle of Rioja at $46.75. That's what we had to drink with our friends from Cvne Winery. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.